Hello everybody and welcome to my extreme basement declutter. This is a project I have been avoiding since we moved into our home in 2021, but it is time, no more excuses. We're tackling this clutter once and for all. I've been wanting to start this project up for months, but I've been waiting for my husband and I to have a chance to work on it together. That has not happened. Life is busy, and I think for a minute I forgot who I was and that I can literally do anything I set my mind to all by myself. So here we go. This transformation is insane, and I'm so excited to share it with you and hopefully help motivate you to tackle some clutter you have been putting off for a while too. Here is an overview of my lovely basement, starting off with my cabinet that I've told myself is the hub to all my YouTube organization extras, but in reality, I'm never touching any of this stuff, and it's taking up space in our home and in my brain too, and it just doesn't belong in either one of those places. We have 4 of these shelving units down here, and they're absolutely full, every single one of them. There's no organization to it whatsoever, and most of this has just sat here for the last almost 3 years collecting dust and cobwebs. We also had a little bit of a mouse problem when we first moved in, so some of it has collected mouse droppings as well, which is just awesome. That's part of the reason I've put this off. The bugs, the mouse presence, it's gross, but I'm being brave and I'm doing it anyway. Sometimes we just have to do the things that scare us. Today we're focusing on the left side of our basement, so I'm taking care of my cabinet and then 2 out of our 4 shelving units. This took me so many hours, easily 5 hours. I know it's sped up and it looks easy, but it was hard work. My Apple Watch told me I climbed 19 flights of stairs on this day and walked 4 miles around my own house, and I only got half my basement decluttered. But the good news is I should get multiple videos out of this space for you. My plan is to take care of the right side of my basement next, so that'll be its own video, and then I'm also planning to do a super deep clean of the basement once all the clutter's out of the way, and come up with a beautiful and functional organization system where everything is labeled and uniform and easy to locate. I have a vision and I think it's going to be life-changing when all is said and done. You're probably wondering how I ended up with such a collection of organization items. For a while, I was posting almost exclusively organization content, so I would need to purchase items in order to demonstrate them and how to organize with them, and I kept them in this cabinet in our basement in case I needed them again for another video in the future. But I'm so done with that mindset. I do not want clutter in my home just in case. I want to keep only what we need and what we're using and a few sentimental items here and there. I'm fortunate in the sense that in the unlikely event that I do need to purchase these things, again, I could go out and repurchase them, but there may be others out there who don't have that ability and need these things instead of them just sitting in my basement. And that leads me to my next topic, which is how to actually dispose of these items. If you have ever tried to declutter a space or even just thought about decluttering a space, but you found yourself overwhelmed with the thought of how to actually get rid of the things that you want to, I have a suggestion for you. I actually brought everything outside of my house that was worth passing on, and I posted on a yard sale site on Facebook that it was all free, and people came by all day long grabbing what they wanted. The few things that I had left over at the end of the day, I dropped off at the donation center. It was honestly so helpful. I thought going into the basement declutter that we would need to pay for a dumpster and toss it all, but that did not sit right with me at all. I don't like the idea of all of our things going to a landfill. I really try to be conscious of our environment and our planet and recycling, and I feel so good about the fact that our items have gone to new homes and they're not sitting in a landfill somewhere. Absolutely everything in this basement is covered in a thick layer of dust, so I was pulling out my vacuum and making sure to vacuum off all of the surfaces as I went, and then also wiping them down to try and have somewhat of a fresh start. I had a laundry basket behind me that I was putting everything that I planned to stick outside for free in so that I could easily bring that upstairs, and then anything that was definitely trash I did bring down a trash bag for. I ended up filling up think it was like 5 or 6 trash bags full of stuff that were not salvageable. And when I say not salvageable, I mean things that were either broken or they were just trash for some reason, found their way into our basement, or they were things that maybe mice and bugs got into, and I just would not feel good about giving those things to somebody else. As hard as decluttering can be, there are so many benefits to having a clutter-free home. One of those benefits being greater financial awareness. When your space is clean and organized, you can see what you have and you reduce the risk of buying duplicates, which is in turn saving you money. And when you've gone from a very cluttered and messy space to a tidy and organized one, you don't want to go back there. You're less likely to impulsively purchase things. You become more conscious of what you're bringing into your home, and you realize that having items costs you your time, your peace, and your money. And you have to really think about whether or not something is worth all of that before you hit add to cart or grab it off the shelf. And I know this looks bad. I know. Believe it or not, we are not overspenders. Our basement says otherwise though, so I don't know. I think we used to be a lot more frivolous with our money, and I think hold a lot more value in possessions than we do now. But if you don't want to be like us, if you don't want excess clutter, if you enjoy simple, minimalistic living, I would highly suggest that you set a budget and you stick to it. It's so important and will really help you to avoid a basement that looks like ours. So like I was saying, we have noticed a really big difference in our spending habits ever since we've started really ruthlessly decluttering our house. We just aren't spending the kind of money that we used to. We're not putting as much value into our possessions like we used to, and we're really just buying the necessities. We actually budget using the Rocket Money app, and we've been using this app for such a long time, so I'm really excited to partner with Rocket Money for today's video. Rocket Money is a personal finance app that helps you to cancel unwanted subscriptions, lower your bills, and manage your money better. As someone who worked in banking for many years, I find finance and money so interesting, so that is one of the reasons why I love Rocket Money. I use Rocket Money to help me cancel unwanted subscriptions, so the app can actually help identify recurring charges and then cancel them for you, so you don't need to call customer service or do any of that, and it's so easy to just do it right from the app. We also use Rocket Money to help set and track our household budget. So Rocket Money will analyze your spending habits and create a custom budget that suits your lifestyle. And then it will actually monitor your spending by category, and you will get a notification if you've exceeded your spending limits, which is so helpful so you don't accidentally go over budget. Rocket Money will tell you how much you've spent in the last week. It will tell you if you're on track to spend more than usual or maybe a little less than usual, and just really help to shed light on the things that you were spending money on. And you can also view your credit score, and then also, like I said, you can cancel unwanted subscriptions. Have you ever had a subscription to something that you just completely forgot you even had? Rocket Money will help you identify those things so that you can stop paying for them when you're not even using them. Rocket Money has helped to save its customers up to $740 a year with over $500 million in canceled unwanted subscriptions. To save more and spend less, join the over 5 million members using Rocket Money today. So you can go to rocketmoney.com/Elaine, or you can click the link in my description box to get started for free. And you can also unlock even more features with premium. So again, that is rocketmoney.com/Elaine to get started today for free. And thank you so much to Rocket Money for sponsoring today's video. You guys might remember, if you've watched my channel for a while, that this big bin here, I think it came from Home Goods, and I used this as like a toolbox when I was living in an apartment, and now we definitely don't use this anymore, so it was time for me to clean it out and give this away to somebody else. I have made a ton of progress when it comes to parting with things when I'm decluttering. I feel like I'm a lot more ruthless than I used to be. I really don't have that mindset anymore of keeping things just in case, or keeping things just because they cost a lot of money and I don't want to waste the money, or keeping things because I think they're really cool and maybe eventually it will come in handy. There were a few bigger, nicer, more expensive items in our basement that we just simply never use. And again, like I said before, these things take up our time and our peace and our space, and I don't want that anymore. So even though I really do like those things, in another lifetime, maybe I would really enjoy using them on a regular basis. Right now, I'm just not. And so I was very good about getting rid of those things instead of keeping them. And those things were one of the first things to get grabbed off of our driveway when I posted it for free. So I'm really excited that somebody else out there might be using and appreciating them more than I am currently. This part of the shelf down here in the basement is mostly seasonal decor. So I have a bin for Halloween, I have one for Easter, and then I have like 3 or 4 for Christmas. We have a lot more bins for Christmas than we do for any other holiday. So I didn't go through those bins. I have gone through them pretty recently, but I think that in the future, when I do come up with a better organization system for everything, I will go through those bins as well and get rid of anything that is just no longer our style or that we're not using every holiday when that time comes to decorate the home. We had an Instant Pot that I am absolutely terrified of using, so I decided to give that away. And then we also had an air fryer that we never ever use and has been sitting down here for years, so I put that outside as well for free, and I was able to clear off pretty much this entire shelf. I had a ton of picture frames as well that I just was not using, and they've also been sitting down here for the past 3 years, so I got rid of most of them, and these were actually one of the first things to go when I put them all outside for free. I was so sad about this bag that I pull out in a second. It was a really nice insulated reusable grocery bag, but it was full of mouse poop. So unfortunately, I did have to get rid of that. And then I found this entire bin full of organization supplies, and I brought that outside. This bin we will go through in a little bit. And again, I'm just vacuuming everything as I go. There was so much dust. I love all these glass jars, but we're just not in a season of our life right now where we have a beautiful, organized pantry that I'm using them. So I did go ahead and put those outside, and somebody took all of them. This is just an overview of everything that I brought upstairs, and then I'll show you guys how it all looked when I brought it outside and set it up and posted it on the internet for free. There was so much stuff, and it truly felt like a weight was lifted off of my shoulders. Back into the basement we go. I was taking more things outside as the day went on, and I found something that was worth passing on. I was filling up more trash bags. I wanted to do more of a deep dive into some of the bins that I did not look through earlier in the day. I had a big bin full of maternity clothes that I likely won't need again. We had bins with like old paperwork in them. We had bins with old artwork of Carson's from daycare way back in the day. So I wanted to go through each and every single bin and just make sure that I was not keeping anything that we no longer need. I have been looking for this Young Living diffuser since we moved into our house, but unfortunately it was missing a piece, so it was not usable, and I did end up getting rid of it. But I also found a bunch of like greenery, faux greenery from my apartment, and I put most of that outside for someone to take, and all of that got taken. I also had all of these throw pillows that I have not used in years. They were pretty dirty, so I took the covers off to wash them, and I did end up giving away a couple of the inserts because I just can't see myself using all of these. This bin right here was full of baby feeding supply type of things, and I definitely don't need those now, and if I did need them in the future, I would just go out and buy something else. So I did give that away, and then I had a bunch of makeup in these bins right here that unfortunately has been sitting down here for years and it's definitely expired, so I had to let go of those things too. All this right here is trash I've collected. I'm so sad about that bag right there, but there is tons of mouse poop in there. I don't think we have mice anymore, but there's still mouse poop in things from when we did have them, and I just can't get past that. I'm not going to put my food in that bag even if I clean it, so I'm going to get rid of that. And then I've got a bunch of other trash over here, and then right here, this is all stuff I'm going to go add to the outside pile once I obviously dust that coffee maker off. But yeah, and then this I need to go through, so I'm going to bring that upstairs with me. But this is the next round of things I'm putting outside. Instead of bending over on the basement floor to go through stuff or sitting on the basement floor, I decided to bring a couple of bins upstairs so I could go through them. I knew that a lot of this would end up being trash, but I wanted to go through everything. I found some old videotapes from a camera I had back when I was a kid. I don't know what to do with those. I can't find a way to play them. So if any of you guys have ideas for how to get those little tapes to play or what I should do with them, I would love to hear it in the comments. I also had an old Polaroid camera that I did decide to keep. And then most of this was stuff from when I worked at home. I had like paperwork and notes and things like that that need to be shredded. And then I had a bunch of artwork from when Carson was in daycare and just daycare related projects and things that were so adorable to go through, but I did get rid of a lot of it. I kept anything that was really nice and sentimental or that had like Carson's handprints from when he was little, but anything else I did let go of. Anything that I did bring upstairs and decide to keep, I wanted to immediately find a home for, because if I just bring it up and lay it on my counter and don't find a place for it to go, it's going to end up just cluttering surfaces in my house, and that is exactly what we're trying to avoid. So I wanted to immediately find a place to put it or get rid of it. Back into the basement, I'm grabbing some more bins to go through. It has been so long since I've gone through any of this stuff. I had no idea what I was going to find. But the next thing that we're going to declutter is my maternity clothes. We're really not sure if we ever plan to have any more kids. I think if we did, it would be like an accident and unintentional. So I did get rid of most of this because I likely will never wear it again. And I've also had it a really long time. And honestly, this is going to sound probably ridiculous, but it's pretty out of style at this point. So I think if I did have another baby, I'd likely want to purchase a couple of newer things that are a little bit more trendy. And as sad as it is to donate things like maternity clothes or baby stuff, I just try to remind myself that by me donating these things, that doesn't mean I can never have another baby again. It just means that if I did decide to have another baby again, I'd need to buy a couple more things. But this is not like the end all be all for me, so I don't hold quite as much sentimental value in it as I used to. This bin right here was full of paperwork that we have had since we lived in our condo back in like 2012. So these things are so old. I don't know how long you're supposed to keep like tax documents and if you need to keep copies of old mortgages and stuff, but I do think that I'm going to shred the older stuff. I'm not sure where I'm going to take it to shred it or if I should buy a paper shredder. I feel like it's probably something I should have. But I was putting everything that needed to be shredded into a separate pile so that I didn't mix that up with things that could just be tossed into the trash. I found another bin with Carson's old daycare artwork, so same thing, I'm only keeping the really good stuff or anything that had a handprint, and I'm getting rid of the rest. I made both of my kids milestone boxes recently that are sorted from pre-K to all the way to the end of high school, and so I had a place to store those things, and that's why I felt good about keeping them, because I have a place in mind already for them to go. I kept some of these quilts and blankets that were like baby blankets, but then everything else I did get rid of. This bin right here that we're going through was full of mostly paperwork related to our new appliances in our home. And I've had a lot of you guys tell me that most like instruction manuals and stuff can be found online, so there's no reason to keep them. So I did get rid of quite a bit. I kept a couple of things because there was one instance where it came in handy to have something for our microwave, so I didn't want to throw everything away. But I did go through and just keep the things that were important, and then I found a couple of things in this pile as well that should be shredded. A lot of the stuff in this bin, I believe, came from my office when I used to work in the office, so it was really funny to go through it all, just take a little trip down memory lane, but I did get rid of most of it because obviously I don't need that anymore. Now I'm consolidating all of the trash into trash bags. I ended up needing like 5 or 6 trash bags total, I can't remember, but there was a bunch of trash by the bulkhead that is my husband's responsibility to take out of the house. I've done the sorting and now he needs to take the bags out. And then after I finished consolidating all of the trash, I kind of picked up a little bit and then I started doing some vacuuming. There was just like cobwebs and dust and bugs and just all kinds of things on the floor and on the shelves in here. So I was vacuuming as I went, but I wanted to do another quick vacuum before I finished up in the basement for the day. You'll notice there's a lot of clutter by our oil tank all the way at the end there, and that is stuff that I will go through, but I didn't get to on day one. The next thing that I did was bag up all of the clothes that I was going to be donating so I could throw that into my car and bring that to the donation center. I wanted to go through all of this paperwork that I had been going through downstairs one more time, just to make sure that everything that needed to be shredded was together and anything that needed to be just thrown in the trash was thrown in the trash. I just wanted to sort it all, make sure I wasn't missing anything. I don't want to take any chances when it comes to throwing away important paperwork. So we're going to do a little bit more sorting here, a little bit more throwing away, a little bit more tidying, and then I will show you guys everything I decluttered from the basement, and I will also share before and afters so you can see all the progress that we made on day one. This is obviously going to take me longer than one day. It's going to take me multiple weeks, I'm sure, of work on the basement, but I feel like I made a huge head start and it just really kind of motivated me to keep going. I'm excited to film the next part of this, hopefully soon. Like I said, I'm going to film the other side of the basement declutter, and then I also want to do a super deep clean. I want to make the space so much more inviting and enjoyable to be in, because as of right now, I absolutely dread going down into our basement. So I'm looking forward to having it be beautiful and organized, or as beautiful and organized as a dungeon-like basement could possibly be. Here is everything that was deemed trash and deemed not salvageable. So a whole bunch of stuff. I'm really happy to get all of this out of our home. This is a before of my shelf here, which I was kind of calling the hub of all of my extras when it comes to my YouTube videos, and I truly did not need all of this. I'm so glad that I got rid of most of it. And then here's the after of this shelf. It looks so much better. I can actually see everything, and I feel like I can definitely organize this in a way that makes so much more sense than how it was before. Here is the before of our shelving units. I just realized that we actually have, I think, 5 of these shelving units and not 4. Like I said before, we had 3 on this side and then we have 2 on the other side, I believe. But yeah, absolutely full stuff on every single square inch of these shelves, and really no rhyme or reason to where everything was. It was covered in dust. Some things were covered in mouse droppings. And here's the after one day of decluttering. So like I said, this part of the shelf is for like home decor. My husband has a ton of sports cards, and that's what you're seeing on that middle section there. We've got a TV my husband also won't let me get rid of that we never ever use, but hopefully I can get that out of our house pretty soon. We've got a bunch of empty shelves now. But yeah, pretty soon this is all going to look uniform and organized, but look at the progress that we made after just one day of going through the basement. I was so proud of myself, and it felt like a weight was lifted off of all of our shoulders having all this stuff gone. And I am tired and my body hurts. So this is the end of day 1 of my basement declutter. So we got rid of a ton of stuff. I want to say there's like 6+ trash bags downstairs, and then a ton of the stuff that I put outside has already been taken. I continued to add to that, and some of that has been taken as well, and then whatever's left behind I'll donate. But I'm exhausted. That's it for day 1. I think the plan next is to do the other side, and once I get rid of all the clutter, I would like to come up with a really good organization system that actually looks nice down there and is functional. And then once I've done that, I would like to also deep clean the basement and just make it a more inviting space, because right now it's like a dungeon and I don't want to go down there, but this should help a ton. I am feeling really good about everything that I've accomplished today, so I hope you guys enjoyed this declutter. Make sure that you subscribe to my channel if you are new and you enjoy decluttering videos. I have so many on my channel, and I'm currently working on a decluttering series at my mom's house as well. I think that video will go up next week, so definitely subscribe to my channel and turn your notification bells on so you don't miss any of my future uploads. Also, don't forget to check out Rocket Money. I will have all that information in my description box down below, and thank you so much to Rocket Money for sponsoring today's video. But that's all for today. I think I've said that at least 3 times, but my brain is so frazzled from just the amount of work I have done today. I hope you guys enjoyed. Thank you for watching, and I hope you'll come back again next week for another video.